Hey guys, it's Darren Carter with the Fidelis Group at Remax One. Today I'm going to take a couple minutes to give you guys 7 helpful tips for first-time home buyers. So if you know anyone that's looking to get into buying their first home, or maybe they're moving on to their second home but have forgotten the process a little bit, share them this video or have them contact me directly. Either way, I'd love to help them out. So let's get right into it. The first step I would give anyone looking to buy a home would first be to kind of get a really good understanding of your income and expenses. Tracking your income and expenses, whether you rent now or still live with family, will really help you understand what a comfortable monthly payment would be, because that's information that you're going to need to socialize, and we'll get into that a little bit more in step 2. So what you should do is go ahead and track, your electric bill, car notes, car insurance, credit card bills, Netflix, anything that you spend on monthly. Take that and deduct it from your monthly income, because that's money that's going to be used to pay your mortgage. Step 2, certainly, and I think is also one of the more important steps other than pairing with a great real estate agent, is get with a really good lender. Whether you choose to go with the company that you currently bank with and get a loan through them or through a private lender, either way, it's just really important that you get with a good lender who understands your unique situation, what your unique goals are, what your target monthly mortgage is, and any other factors that could possibly help you down the road when it comes time to buy a house. With that, we'll kind of segue off of that one and go on to step number 3. Don't allow your mortgage provider to determine what you're pre-qualified for. And I know that kind of sounds like a loaded question, but hear me out. What I'm saying is, come to them with the information of what you feel comfortable is going to be your monthly payment. Because the last thing anyone would want to do is set you up and say you're pre-qualified for X amount of dollars, and then you not know what that monthly mortgage payment is until you get the price breakdown. And then without knowing your income and expenses, you kind of get into the house, realize what's been called house poor. That's just as bad as selling someone a bad house, as selling somebody something that they can't afford in the long run. That's the last thing anyone wants to do. I think everyone should have a comfortable lifestyle. So if you could still pay your bills, pay your mortgage, pay things on time, and enjoy everyday life, I think that's a really good work-life balance that everyone should strive for. So once you're paired with a good lender, you socialize, what you're comfortable paying per month. Third is getting your pre-approval letter. You want to go ahead and get this done prior to any showings that you decide to schedule with your real estate agent. And there's a few reasons for that. One, it minimizes the disappointment, because walking into a home blindly and you fall in love with it and then you realize that you may not qualify for it, there's no worse feeling, and it's really discouraging. And it may have you backtracking a little bit and thinking about the mortgage process and maybe even the home buying process, like maybe you should wait another year before you qualify for more or something like that. So I really think it's a good idea that you guys get a pre-approval letter before you step foot into the door. Typically, it's our standard operating procedure that we obtain pre-approval before even going out to show homes. Another reason for getting your pre-approval prior to showings is you're not waiting on a lender. Lenders are human beings. They have everyday life happen to them just like me or you. So whether they're out of town or they're at a funeral, and then you're going to tour a house with your real estate agent, and all of a sudden your lender has went out of town, you get the out of office email that we all dread, but you're ready to put an offer in. And now without an updated pre-approval letter, the chances of your offer getting accepted have dramatically decreased. So it's always a good idea to get that pre-approval, have it in hand, ready to go to provide to your real estate agent. Let them keep a copy on file, you keep a copy on file, so when you find the perfect home, everything is aligned to go. Another good reason to get your pre-approval is it's a competitive market right now. There's not a lot of inventory, so there aren't many listings out on the market. Therefore, kind of going back to the other point I made, if you don't have everything ready to go and you have to put an offer in, and all of a sudden you're competing against 4 or 5 other buyers at a time, without an updated pre-approval, it really hurts your chances of getting the home that you really like. Lastly, what we've been kind of seeing a few months ago, I actually saw one today, so I thought it was a good idea to bring it back up, is I've seen some listing agents, usually on behalf of the seller, require pre-approval letter prior to allowing the buyer's agent and the buyer access into the home, whether it's just an extra precaution that sellers are taking. Luckily, things have been easing up a little bit, but it's also something to keep in mind. If you have a really strict seller or a really strict listing agent, they may want to make sure that you have that pre-approval letter in hand before they open up the house for you to walk through it. The 5th tip I would give you guys is set money aside. It's never too early to start saving money, but it's really important in the home buying process to kind of have a nest egg of money set to the side for the buying process. And the reason for this is you're going to need this money for a few different reasons. One, you're going to need this money for your EMD. So paragraph 7 of our Maryland Residential Contract of Sale, the payment terms paragraph, that goes over the EMD and the EMD amount. We can get into what the earnest money deposit is for a little bit later. We can talk about that in person or in another video maybe. But your earnest money deposit is an important part of the transaction. It's required to make it a valid contract. So without that money being set aside in order to escrow funds, it's really impossible to have a valid contract on a piece of property. So getting that money set aside, and I've seen them in ranges from $1,000 to $5,000. They really just vary depending on whatever type of property that you're buying. So just make sure that you have money set aside that you can put into an escrow account should you find the right property. Another reason, once you find the property, you're going to need to pay for inspections. So unless there's some extenuating circumstance, typically the buyer pays for all of the inspections to be done on the property. This is not the place that you guys should be saving money at. I mean, inspections are really securing your investment, making sure that the property that you're getting is in good functioning order at the time that you buy it, and you want it to last even years after your purchase. So getting a licensed home inspector in here who really knows what they're doing to go through everything, your plumbing and electric and your structural foundation, looking for mold, termites, things of that nature. Septic systems especially, what we typically see because we live in such a wet area around here, as you see some of the older homes, septic's failing. So have that money set aside. I mean, they range at all different types of prices. If you want more information on that, provide that to you guys. The third reason you want to have money set aside is closing costs. I know typically, and you'll see this in a lot of deals, the seller pays something towards the buyer's closing costs. However, there's no guarantee that the seller will be able to pay that closing cost, whether or not they have a certain mortgage they have to pay off. Closing costs can be expensive, and they're based on the purchase price of the property. You can get a better understanding of what your estimated closing costs would be from your lender and a preferred title company. They can get numbers together and give you a pretty good idea of what it would take to close your home. I know it's hard to save that amount of money. I mean, we're talking a large sum of money at times, but getting as close as possible to that just really minimize the stress if you run into a scenario where the seller is not able to help you, yet you are really in love with the property. You just want to give yourself as many options as possible. So I would say if you're thinking about buying, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, 3 years from now, save, start putting money to the side, because the home buying process does require funds up front, even if you were to maybe find a loan or something that has 100% financing. 6 is probably the most fun part. Can be stressful depending on what type of homes you're looking at, but it's finding your home. So getting with a good real estate agent, any of our team members at the Fidelis Group or myself will be happy to show you guys homes, but getting with a good agent and making sure that they are sending you homes that fit your price point and your budget is really important. Going through the homes with your agent, getting their professional opinions on it, any negotiating strategies they may have, is all a crucial part of the home buying process. It comes a little bit later, but in my opinion, that's the most fun part, because you get to go around with people and see what their interests are, and you meet so many different people, and everyone has different tastes. Some people love granite, some people hate granite, some people love open floor plans, some people like split level homes. It's really all over the place. I love it because everyone is a different human being and everyone has different tastes, and we have homes that fit everybody. Step 7, if you're with a good real estate agent, trust their advice. I mean, most of us have been doing business long enough, or at least are proficient enough, to give you good enough advice through the home buying process where you should be able to follow our recommendations. For example, at the Fidelis Group, we have a pretty similar trusted process that we all go through with the home buying. I don't want to bore you guys with too many details, but from offer to inspections, to appraisal, to closing, I mean, we have you guys covered. We have experience. We work in the industry all the time. We see deals all the time. We see all types of different homes. We have a great brokerage that has plenty of resources for us. So if we even don't know something, there's always the resources to reach out to get you the right answer. So I know you can obtain a lot of information through the internet, but trust me, when you're going to buy a home, if you're with a good real estate agent, like any of our team members on the Fidelis Group, just make sure that you trust our guided advice, because we only want to see you put in a property that's right for you, something that's affordable, safe, and hopefully brings you years of enjoyment, whether it's your forever home or something that you move up from. And I think really the overall message when you're a first-time home buyer is find people who are worried about you. It should always be people, not the property. That's a motto I like to live by, and I think a lot of people really appreciate that when you focus on them, their wants, their needs, and not just trying to get them in the door of a house. It may take a little bit more time than just going out there and slapping contracts on the first house you see, but I promise we'll get you to the settlement table. Thank you guys. If you know anybody looking to buy a home, share this video. I'm sure it can help a few people out. If you want any more information, reach out to me, either DM me or email me. I'll put my contact info in there. And thank you guys. Have a good weekend.